Nice.
Okay. All
Welcome
right.
back to the show.
Yes, so we got the video back. Brandon is no longer staring at his cell phone the entire time, but trust me, he's been working in mime school and he knows how to throw his voice the entire time. It was awesome. So,
Yeah, so let me give you a little, I guess, summary of everything so far. So
sure.
Brandon, yeah, he's back on the show. Last time we talked about mindset, now we're focusing on asset. And right now, he's saying that it's okay to have a 9 to 5 as long as they invested into something as good. And that's exactly what Brandon here did. He was able to accidentally started his own, what do you call it?
Car rental business?
Car rental business. And he's actually scaling that. Now he's getting passive income every single month. So we're gonna hear from him and just briefly how you did that.
Yeah, definitely. So previously, I was a personal trainer and I started investing in real estate. And with real estate, I learned quite a bit on how assets work and how you can leverage them. And so I had one car that I was renting out. And when I was renting it out, I was already paid off, so it was cash flowing positive. It was actually cash flowing better than our real estate. And with that, I could take that money and pay down any debts that I had. When we were investing in real estate, my goal was to get to 10 rental properties. And with 10 rental properties, it would essentially allow me to stop working. But I had mortgages on those, so I had to wait 30 years. And that's no fun. So I didn't want to wait. And so I started a car rental business. And typically, you can get a car on a 72-month plan, which is about what, 6 years, I think, if my math is correct. Maybe it's five, yeah, 6 years. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. And so with that, I had one car that I was rented out all the time. In the beginning of this year, I bought another car, and then that was always rented out. And so I bought a few more. And in doing so, with the economies of scale, pretty much the two cars that are rented pay for all five cars. If all of them, say if three of them weren't rented out, two of them would pay for all the debt service. And so that kind of spread my risk. However, I'm not getting all the benefits that I get with real estate, because with car rentals, you don't get the appreciation in a car because it's a depreciating asset. And so obviously you talk to your tax professional on how that works. If it's obviously not everyone lives in the United States, you want to know what you can write off and all of that fun stuff.
I really like that because you said something earlier on before everything crashed
Right.
that it's like car rental, it's just like Airbnb.
Right.
And that is actually booming right now. And a lot of people are becoming millionaires from Airbnb, right? And so I never thought of actually renting out a car because I honestly didn't think people actually do that. But it so happened that my husband and I, every time we have to make a long drive, we normally rent a vehicle to do that
Right.
instead of using our own vehicle, like from Enterprise or whatever, those companies. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is genius. You can scale this to make a lot of money.
Right. And you can do, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do it too. Like, for the Airbnb example, a lot of people think that I need to buy a house or a nice place, but you really don't. And I think we talked about this on the previous podcast, but you can do Airbnb arbitrage, where
Hmm.
you essentially are renting out a apartment, you furnish it, and then you rent it out to vacation goers or people that are in for the weekend or whatever it is. And so by renting it out to them, you want to make sure that your not your debt service, because it's no debt, but your monthly more rent is way less than what you're getting from the rental without ever having to put 20% down on a property, which is needed for, well, at least in the United States, you need to put down 20% down on an investment. You can put down, $1,000, whatever it is, first month's and last month's rent for a rental. You furnish it, and then you make sure that you make your cash back. And so you just need to do what is best in terms of the cash flow from that. You're not getting all the benefits of, say, appreciation. You're not getting a lot of the other benefits that come in with real estate, like creative financing, all that, the fun stuff. But that's a good way to create a cash flowing asset without having to put a lot of money down. And so for me, like the car rental business, I'm able to uh, essentially get about just I guess throw some numbers out. I get about 100%, probably, yeah, 100% cash on cash return on the car rental business. So what that means is, well, to give you an example, with real estate, we were getting 7 to 10%. So it'd
Okay.
take me 10 years to make that cash on cash return back on real estate versus 1 year with the car rental business. And with that, say for instance, I put down, we talked about it previously, how I put down $5,000 on my credit card and paid that off. So my cash is 5,000, but I'm making 10,000 from that car within the year, from that one car. And so that's 200%, but you have to deduct the debt service and all that stuff. So it it comes out to about 100%. So within 1 year of me investing a thousand, say $5,000, I'm getting that $5,000 back in my pocket within 1 year, and then anything else above that is just kind of free money. Um, but you have to think that I'm not actually spending. I mean, you don't with car rentals if you have enough good credit, like the first or the second car, I didn't put any money down because I just used my the bank's money. I said, "Hey, bank, I'm not going to put any money down on this car. I want you guys to finance the whole thing, and I want you to give me 6 months no payments." And so they gave me no payments for 6 months or 5 months, and then had to put any money down. And so in doing so, that first 5 months, I didn't have to pay any money out of pocket on the debt service. So I created a cushion for myself
Right.
without having to put any money away. So, say for instance, I had a bad month, I had that cushion where I was able to kind of protect that asset. And so, you can't really do that with real estate. You kind of had to put 20% down, and then hopefully you get that renter like that first month. So they pay rent that month, and it covers anything that might happen. So there's a lot of benefits of starting a car rental business because one, there's you can use other people's money 100%, essentially, by using the bank's money, and we love OPM, other people's money. So that's I guess one of the benefits of owning a car rental is you don't need any money out of pocket like you do with Airbnb, where you need to furnish the place, you need to
Okay.
put a deposit down, you need to all the other things that go into it.
And so my question is, would you ever partner with someone to do this?
I don't know. I'm I've go back and forth um, on it. I would probably have, if I were to do it, I'd probably do like a money, I guess, partner, not someone who tells me what to do or
No.
has a say in it.
Yeah.
So, like we talked about other people's money, I'd rather have that do that where I'm paying them a fee to use their money than having them agree what we should do. Every time I partner with someone and we, like in the past, not currently, but in the past, it's never like a good experience.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you saying that you will consider it if it's pertaining to money. Like, okay, Brandon,
Right,
I
right, right.
decide I'm gonna invest X amount of money and that's it. I just invest it and I'm getting a return every month.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
So it'd be kind of like the bank. They would want an interest rate. Yeah. So I
Okay.
wouldn't. They wouldn't own a part of the company. Um, they would be just strictly a bank,
For sure.
I like
unless
that.
they decided to, like, say for instance, sell a part of the business and have a kind of someone to take it to that next. Like, say uh, the the enterprise CEO quits and is like, you know what, F this, I want to go small scale. And he's like, hey, Brandon, I want to take you to that next level. Then I'd be like, okay, let's do this.
Right.
But someone who's, doesn't know the business or hasn't done anything, and they're like, hey, I want to be 50-50 partners and I have, 10 grand. I'm gonna be like, here, go out, kick rocks.
Yeah.
Give me that
That's
10 grand. I'll give
understandable.
you 4 or 5% on your money. So it's just, I mean, if you think about it, that's what banks do, right? The banks,
Yeah.
you put their money into the bank. They give you 0.005% interest, and they're loaning it to me as an investor at 5 to 7%.
Yeah.
So it just depends on, do you want your money sitting in a bank earning less than a percentage, or do you want to be a bank and loan it out to investors and make 10x on your money versus a savings account?
Now, I did have a question from the last time you were here. You did mention that you was gonna check out some cars that was in the apartment complex near you
Yeah.
that was just sitting there. How did that work out?
Oh man, so I bought 200 business cards, and I put them out probably like a couple times a week. I had two people call me, and one person was already doing it, and another person was had to fix his car or something like that, and I ended up just throwing all the business cards away because it wasn't really worth my time to walk around handing out cards. However, now that I have kind of the assets where I just don't have one car, I have kind of a portfolio. There's a lot more options.
Okay.
So, for instance, it's funny that you say that because my dad was like, "Hey, Brandon, I have this car that's just sitting around. If I drove it to you, would you like put it on Toro?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do that." And so, again, using other people's money, right, to make more money. So yeah, I mean, the walking around and handing out business cards, one, is not a good use of my time, and two, I didn't really get the
Participation.
yeah that I wanted.
Yeah, because that kind of sparked when Queenie had mentioned about, partnering. So I'm like, well, hey, I know you had mentioned, hey, I'm going to check out and see if anybody would be interested in loaning my car. That's more like a partnership, like,
Right.
hey, it's your car, but I'll give you like a piece of the pie if you let me rent it out for you.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, I would do that. They call it co-hosting, and that's very common, I guess, in the tour space, especially people that have, say, for instance, they want to open up another location in a different state or a different city. They would have operators essentially in those other places. So
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
'cause
that's good to know.
we're here in Florida, man. We can head down to Pembroke Pines, you and I, David. Hit up the old folks area and be like, hey,
Let's
look,
do
I
it.
know y'all not going nowhere. Let me-
well, and it's crazy because there's like right down the street, there's two houses that have like 4 or 5 cars that it's probably a big family that just always sit there. And I've always been tempted to kind of walk over there and be like, hey, would you be interested? But I haven't.
You
You
got to think
should.
about it, but you got to think about it. If somebody knocks on my door and be like, "Yo, I see 3 cars. You only use one. Can I put this up on Toro? What the heck is that?"
We're like, come on, guy. We
We
live
can
in a
make
world
money.
with artificial intelligence now. You don't even have to ask questions like that no more. Just watch a video on YouTube.
It's either yes or no. I give you two answers, yes or no. It's with a shot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I think to me too, like having control and them. Say well, probably not. The reason being is, say for instance, a car gets wrecked, not my
Okay.
fault. Someone else does it, and then it's, insurance can pay for it. Obviously, it goes through the whole insurance thing, but then that could potentially ruin that relationship with my
Sure.
neighbor. So, not that I've ever talked to them in my life,
Yeah.
nor do I have I talked to too many people around our neighborhood. But I wouldn't want to soil that relationship also, especially since a lot of people are kind of materialistic and love kind of having their own little asset. If it gets ruined, they're going to be like, well, that was my favorite car. Well, unfortunately, shit happens. So,
And also, they do know where you live.
right.
No, but going on this, just remember, with any business like partnership, they're gonna know the risks
Right.
involved in partnering with you. So if something happened, you was not to blame. You sat down, you explained the business, you explained the risks, and they agreed.
But they know where you live, though.
I
Yeah.
know where they live too.
That's
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 I mean, that's the perfect world. Like,
Yeah.
you know how
Yeah.
many people, I mean, and you have to think of it like those people like us understand investing and understand risk and have risk tolerance.
Right.
People that are typically that I would be approaching don't understand all that. And they're going to be like, what the F man, blah, 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 blah. And it's all that goes out the window. You can
Yeah.
explain as much of the risks and they'll be like, quick money, I'm not doing anything. Great. And then when one little bad thing happens, shit hits the fan. So,
Yeah.
Okay, that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
my neighbor upstairs, he just got a car imported from, I think Japan or one of those, the right side driver. He paid like, I think he paid total like 8 grand or something, 7 or 8 grand. The car had like 23,000 miles in it, and I'm
Wow.
like, man, maybe we should buy some cars over there, bring them in
Yeah,
and rent them out.
there's I still need to figure out the best strategy and because I know there's ways to import cars for pretty cheap.
And it was
So
in mint condition, bro.
yeah,
They had it like I don't know what they did, mothball it, and he told me to look it up on YouTube. They had like a nasty looking factory, but when you went inside, all the cars are like wrapped, and it was like perfect. Um, those Nissan GTRs, there's a lot of them in there. Those racing car ones, yeah, and they were going for, I believe 4 or 5 thousand. But then you have to import it, and that's where the
right,
fees get crazy,
right.
because apparently you can't keep old cars in Japan or China or wherever it is.
Interesting.
yeah,
They
nah.
have to get rid of them.
In Japan,
So
you're only allowed to have a car for like 2 or 3 years maximum. You can't
yeah,
have it no. Yeah,
yeah,
a
and they
friend of
got
mine
low
used to
miles
live
in them.
over there. He was telling me, he's like, he calls me, he's like, bro, their garbage trucks look like the newest things you ever seen. He's like, I want a garbage truck. They're like, everything is clean. There's nothing dirty here. He's like the cars are clean. Everything. It's like he was saying that they have to. You can only have a car for so long. I think the maximum is 3 years, and you have to trade it in and get a brand new car. If you have anything over
Huh.
3 years,
So
they
many
won't
years
allow you to drive it.
because of the
That's
emissions
silly.
law.
Yeah,
Something, yeah, it's crazy.
That's dumb.
yeah.
Hey,
Well,
but it's good for us if we can get the cars
Right.
imported.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Well, I think it costs about like I think it's 4 or 5 grand to import it, and so you're looking at 14,
hmm
15. Um,
With low miles too, 20,
yeah,
20,000.
it just yeah. I mean, that's really good. So
And
you just have
and
to see what the numbers come out to and if it's worth it.
and the steering wheel is on the wrong side of the car too. That
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Yeah.
it's like you just
That's
flip it
That's
when you bring it
minor.
up. Yeah,
that
it
might
is
be also
minor.
an issue with Toro too.
Yeah.
It might be a liability because
Uh,
people aren't used to driving on the right side; they're used to driving on the left side. So I don't know the rules. I know that you can't have manual cars on Toro. So I'm
Really?
oh wow.
guessing having it on the other side is going to be an issue too.
Huh, you
Yeah.
should call it unique cars and then
Well, they have luxury cars.
okay.
Because people isn't like me, like for me, when I go back home, it's on the other side.
Really?
And we drive on the other side of the road as well. So
What?
yeah, it's completely like different. So going back home, I'm like, oh my goodness, this car not supposed to be turning here. And I'm like, no, they're right. Yeah, so I can
Wow.
see why it may cause a problem.
Well, guys, we got about 3 minutes left. Do we have any other questions for Brandon? I apologize, Brandon, about the technical difficulties there, man.
No, it's totally good. The first part was amazing, so we can just
We will
splice in
include.
a still image.
We're gonna include the audio. You know what? If you could just give me a big smile with thumbs up, yeah, we'll just add that instead of you looking down at your cell phone the entire time.
Yeah, so I mean, like, easy way if you're listening to this, use Queenie's intro that we just did, and then add the whole bit after that, and I think it would be solid.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Yeah, man. So, yeah, thank you again, Brandon, for being here. We want to thank everybody else for being here too. Queenie, we love your background. Like,
Thank you.
I'm absolutely in love with like how everything looks back there. It's just like so cool. It's like
That's
you're
very nice.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And Brandon, again, thank you for dropping all of the bombs as usual, bringing
Yeah.
all of the
I'm here
money
to support you
since.
guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
And hey, where can we find you, man? Where can everybody find you?
Probably my trainer Brandon, or actually I switched my previously, and I don't think you guys know this, but previously I was the boring passive income guy
Right.
on YouTube, and so if you pick that up, then you'd find me. But now I switched it to Brandon, the boring passive income dad. My wife is 20 weeks pregnant, so we are having our first
Oh,
child here.
congratulations.
Thank you. In a
Congratulations.
couple months here, so in October. So I'm getting geared up for that. I'm really
Yes.
excited.
Oh
That's awesome.
man.
Congratulations, man.
You need to
Thank
get
you.
about 8 more cars then.
Right. Well, the first years, I guess, for a few years, they're not that expensive, is what I hear. So,
It,
Oh,
except
it's
for
not the
diapers.
expense.
Diapers, yeah.
that depends. I mean, you just one of your cars is going to be paying for diapers, and if they're going to be taking formula, then that's going to be another car. And if you don't know if it's a boy or girl yet, you
We
don't
do.
have to disclose that.
It's a
But if
girl.
it's a girl, you're going to need at least 15
Oh,
more
awesome.
cars.
They're
You're gonna
expensive.
need vacations.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, we definitely have vacations lined up, so we're really excited. And we already picked a name, and we're really excited. So,
That's
Oh
awesome.
man, congratulations,
thank you.
man. I love to hear about new kids coming here, man. I think it's the best, man.
It is.
yeah, I'm super excited. It's our first child, and it's a girl, so we're super excited.
I'm
Yes.
excited.
That is so awesome. What a way to end the show, man.
Yep.
Really love that. So, hey, we look forward to having you back here again. Trans the technical difficulties. But with that, hey, Roger, cue the music. All right. We're going to call that a night, and everybody, we'll see you next time. Take care.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right.